Hi guys, I'm Cody J and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now as you can see, my face-based makeup is already finished, which can only mean one thing. Today's video is all about eyeshadow, and more specifically, we are going to be reviewing the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Bloodlust Eyeshadow Palette. So grab your makeup brushes and let's get started. Okay guys, so I am extremely excited about this video. Like I said in the intro, we are reviewing the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Bloodlust Eyeshadow Palette. This is the third eyeshadow palette in the Blood line, so I'm really excited to review it. Now, as we all know, Jeffree Star and his cosmetics brand is definitely known for their iconic packaging, so of course we shouldn't be surprised at how amazing this is. It comes in a beautiful purple hexagon shape and it's embroidered with a lot of gold accents. Now, opening it up, it comes in this crushed velvet, also hexagon shape, and I'm just gonna toss that over there. It feels absolutely amazing. It's super dark purple. It's super beautiful. On the back, like all of his palettes, it has all the extra information you may need, including that it is vegan and cruelty-free. Now, this palette retails for $54 and of course includes his original three formulas, the matte, metallic, and the foiled shadows, but it also has a new formula called an extreme wet formula, so I'm excited to try those out. Now, opening this bad boy up, it looks like this. It has a huge mirror in here, which is really nice. Now, as far as like being travel friendly, definitely not. It's huge, it's kind of bulky, it's not too heavy, but this isn't something you could just like throw in a bag and go, or like a person just like, you know, run out that door with it. But it has a huge mirror in there, which is nice. I personally don't honestly ever use the mirrors in palettes. I use my own little Jeffree Star mirror, but these are the shadows, so I'll give you a moment to take them all in. Now, at first glance, you know, this palette is advertised pretty much as a really, you know, purple palette, and I understand a lot of people had a lot of frustrations with this palette and concerns with it because there aren't a lot of really deep purples. Now, I think what's great about this palette is there are a lot of transition type of shades. There are a lot of lighter ones like Your Majesty up here. You have Royal Pain over here, which would be a good one. Deviant, which is a light purple lilac over here. Those are definitely going to be good shades for transition shades, but I think it's also nice that it has these pops of red and like a dark kind of blue-green down here, so you definitely could do some different things with it. Now, of course, you also have these really beautiful shimmer shadows in the middle, so I'm really excited to test this out. Now, Jeffree says that this palette has extreme pigment, it's next level, it's one of a kind, so I'm kind of curious to see how it stands up to the other two Blood palettes. Personally, I think Blood Sugar and Blue Blood are some of his best palettes, so I'm really hoping this does as well as those, so let's just get into it. Okay, as far as the eye look goes today, I'm thinking I want to do one of my halo eye looks today. Those are my favorite, as you should know if you follow me on my social media, all at Cody J Artistry. And so I think I'm going to start off with Blood Queen, which is the darkest purple down here at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to take that dark purple shade right here, like I said, Blood Queen. I'm just going to dip into that on a little packing brush. It's a Morphe packing brush. And I'm just going to stamp that onto my lid first. Ooh. Ooh. I did also prime both my eyelids with my P. Louise base as always, because y'all know I love me some P. Louise base. So first off, the pigmentation shows up immediately. It looks really nice. Now, I know purples are some of the hardest shadows to formulate the color. I mean, it's definitely one of the hardest. Those and I think yellows I think are pretty difficult. But purples specifically have a lot of issues, typically with being patchy and not being able to keep like the actual purple pigment, especially when you go to blend them out. So hopefully this is a high quality purple shadow, which I expect it to be because it's Jeffree Star. So we'll see. Okay, for that first purple shade, it definitely looks nice. It doesn't look too patchy on the eyelid. It's definitely very vibrant, definitely beautiful. Now with that same brush, I'm just going to take a little bit on the very edge of it and kind of push up at the edge of where all this purple is. Just kind of go back and forth just to soften the lines up. That way it's easier to blend in my next shadow. All right, now that I have all the edges blended out nicely with that same purple shade, the pigment is still there, so it's really nice. Next, I'm gonna take my Morphe M456 brush. It's just a small eyeshadow blending brush, and I think I'm gonna blend this out with a little bit of High King, which is down here in the corner. And then after that, I'm gonna do the same blending technique, and I'm gonna use Vivid Mood, which is right here, which is a lighter purple, more lilac kind of shadow. So we're gonna start off with High King, which is that medium purple. Now I'm just going to take this right on the edge of where the dark purple ends and where we kind of blended it out a little bit. It's like soften the edges. And I'm just going to take this shadow and in circular motions, mixed with some stamping motions, blend this out. Okay, this purple shadow is beautiful, but it definitely is one that you need to build up. It goes on not too opaque, but once you start building it up a little bit, it definitely starts getting a little bit more intense, which is kind of what I prefer. I'd rather something be a little bit more buildable than intense right off the bat, because it's easier to apply more to build up to a more vibrant color than it is to kind of like tone down a vibrant color, you know? So I don't mind that necessarily. It's just a little bit more work, but work. Now real quick, I'm going to take a Morphe M441 brush. It's just a fluffier brush, nothing on it whatsoever, and I'm just going to go over it very, very light-handedly just to make sure that everything is blended together seamlessly, because y'all know we don't do harsh lines. Okay, now that that eye is blended to perfection, I'm going to take another clean Morphe M456 brush, and I'm going to be dipping into Vivid Mood, which is the lighter purple right here. So let me just get that on the brush, tap off any excess, which is very, very little, and let's start blending this in. Now I'm not going to take this too high above that last shadow. I just kind of want to blend it in with High King. Okay, now once you get that on there, again with that same brush, with nothing else on it, I'm just going to go and lay my brush kind of flat right at the edge. Now I'm going to soften the edge up just to get it ready for my final shadow, which is going to be my last shadow on the upper lid area. So now that that's super, super soft, I'm just going to clean that brush off real quick. For my last color, I'm going to be going in with Deviant, which is right here. So we are going to take this on, again, the same Morphe M456 brush, and we're going to dip into that, tap off any excess, and I'm just going to very lightly go right over where that edge is and kind of take it up a little bit higher and out a little bit more, just to soften it up and make sure it is blended to perfection. Alrighty, so right now we have a beautifully perfect gradient purple, smoked out, looking flawless, looking blended to filth. So now we're going to take some concealer. I'm actually going to be using my P. Louise base, not necessarily a concealer, but I'm going to put this on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to be using this with a flat brush, and I'm going to be putting a little halo shape on my eyelid. So I'm going to take my Morphe M124 brush. This is one of my favorite ones to do the little halo effect, as well as cutting my crease. So I'm just going to take that, dip into it. I'm going to close my eye, and I'm just going to make a little line right over here. Kind of go with the curve of my eyeball. Just kind of focusing it in the middle of the lid. Now I'm going to take a little bit more, and we're just going to kind of take a line straight down. So you have like a T shape. And then we're going to go diagonally, and diagonal on the other side. And this is typically the type of halo shape I prefer. I like a fatter halo, just so you can see more of what I'm doing on my little eyelids. Okay, now I also like to take my halos and make them a bit wider, just because when I put my shimmer or my metallic in the middle of my lid, where that halo is, where that concealer or base is, I like to go diagonal with my colors to kind of reshape it, and it kind of makes it a little bit smaller, so I'd rather have it start bigger so I can go smaller. Just makes life easier. So now let me look back into this beautiful palette to see which shade I want in the middle. So I have lots of pinks and purples, obviously. I think I'm going to take this stunning red right here, Bleeding Heart, and I'm going to put that in the center of my lid. So let me get that on the back of my Morphe M166 brush. So I'm just going to pack that onto both sides, tap off any excess, which was literally none, and I'm just going to stamp it on. Now this shadow is a metallic formula, so it's not going to have like the sparkle like a shimmer would. It's going to have the like metallic metal finish to it, which I have been really liking lately. I feel like it's just a cool effect. Okay, now that I have that red on the center of my lid, now typically I would take the same shades that I used for the purple and go like darkest to lightest, but I think I still want to use a little bit different colors instead of just the same ones I used. So I do think I want to try Vile Serpent, which is down here at the bottom. I really want to try to use as many of these as I can. I'm also going to use one of the shimmer shades as a inner corner highlight. So I'm definitely going to use Vile Serpent first, and I'm also going to use Dungeon, I think, and kind of see how that goes. So I think I'm going to use the black, which is Dungeon, on the outer corners of my eye, and then the Vile Serpent kind of green-blue on the inner part of it. So to start, I'm going to take my Jeffree Star Morphe brush, the JS6 right here, and I'm going to dip into Dungeon, which is, I actually think it's a dark purple. Yeah, it's a dark purple, it's not black. It's just like super, super dark purple. At first glance, it looks black, so my bad. But it'll still work because it's much, much darker than Blood Queen, which was that first dark purple that we used. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to stamp this on the outer corners of both sides in more of kind of like a diagonal pattern or shape, just to kind of reshape this halo a little bit and kind of bring it like in. So I'm just going to stamp that on, going all the way down to my lash line. And you see how already it kind of like shapes that halo a bit better, kind of like goes fat to skinny. It's kind of what we want. Actually, it's exactly what we want. Now, before I jump into the next color, I'm going to take one of our original Morphe M456 brushes and whatever pigment is left on here. I'm just going to soften the very top edge of it just so it kind of blends into that purple a little bit more. That way it's not super harsh at all. So very, very lightly, almost no pressure at all. I'm just going to go over the top, just kind of blend it around. So next I'm going to take a clean JS6 brush. It's the same brush as we just used for the dark purple. And I'm going to take Vile Serpent, which is that beautiful dark, dark, dark bluish kind of green color. And again, in the same direction, I'm going to apply this and make sure it blends into that super dark purple we just put on. Now I'm liking that color. It definitely has a nice tone to it. In pictures, I'm sure it'll look a lot better because you'll really get to see it a lot closer. But I'm not loving the red right now. I do like the metallic finish of it, but I just really want it to be like a really vibrant red. So I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to apply a little bit of Wet Jewel, which is the new Extreme Wet formula, and we are going to see how this baby performs. So I'm just going to take a Morphe M124 brush, dip into Wet Jewel, and let's hope this blows our freaking minds. Barely touched it. Oh my. Oh my. Daddy like. Daddy like. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I literally love this so much, and that just changed the whole look of this. Look. It's super wet. That's such a great description. Extreme wet. Yeah, that's literally what it is. It has such a beautiful iridescence and pearl effect. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Dang. Yes. That's beautiful. Okay. So I'm just going to take my Makeup Shack T14 brush. It's just a very small blending brush. I'm going to dip into High King, which is that second purple we used. I'm just going to drag it from my outer corner and keep it really close to my lash line and take it all the way under. All the way around. Do this literally without looking. Then I'm going to take another little brush like that. This is the Morphe M506 brush, which is just a smidge bigger than that last one. And I'm going to take a little bit of Royal Pain, which is right here. I'm just going to use that to kind of soften that purple up underneath the eye a little bit. Very, very lightly blend that in. Okay, real quick, I'm going to do my other eye off camera, throw on some Lashes mascara and liner, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I did my other eye off camera. I threw on a pair of Ardell Wispy lashes. I threw on my purple cream gel liner from ColourPop and the Alchemist Velvet Blur lipstick from ColourPop as well. I figured if we're going purple and we're all about purple today, we gotta have a purplish kind of lip. So this is the final look. I also decided to throw a little bit of Pink Magic, which was that other Extreme Wet shadow in my inner corner. I think it's a super beautiful pop of vibrant pink. Now, overall, I'm extremely happy with this palette. I think the packaging is stunning, the Unicard's stunning, everything about it's stunning. I think it's extra. It's got the little latch here. I mean, if you think Jeffree Star or Jeffree Star Cosmetics, what do you think of? Amazing packaging, amazing formula, over the top, and we definitely got all of those things. Now, as far as the formulation of these shadows, I love the matte. I love the foiled and metallic shadows. They all did an amazing job. All the shadows blended together seamlessly. The only thing that I did not like out of all the shadows I tried was Blood Queen, which is that very first dark purple that we used on our lid. Now, when you first stamp that shadow on, it's very vibrant, very purple. The edges blended out nicely, but as I was doing my other shadow, I noticed that it started moving a lot and started getting really, really patchy. So other than that, I love all of the shadows, so just be mindful that, for me at least, Blood Queen on top of a P. Louise base was very patchy, but I was able to stamp a little bit more on and kind of fix it. Plus I did a little bit of, you know, extra on the lid, so it doesn't really matter. But just be mindful that it is a little bit patchy. But again, it's kind of well known that purple shadows are very, very hard to perfect, but I think it was a pretty good attempt, if you want to call it that. So overall, if you care, the Bloodlust palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics is Cody J approved. Now, this is a palette I definitely think I will be using a lot more of. I really don't think I'm going to just stick with just this palette when I'm doing other looks. I think this is going to be kind of like a supplemental palette. I think I'll be picking little shades out of here and there to combine with other palettes. But like I said, overall, I think it's a beautiful palette. I am really happy with it. I think Jeffree Star did a great job with it, so I'm pretty excited to see what he comes up with next. So that is all I have for you JAYBABYs today. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Bloodlust palette by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. So guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up down below. Click the big red subscribe button so you can join my YouTube family. Turn on my YouTube post notifications by clicking that bell icon and switching it to all. And if you would like to follow me on my social media, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok, all at Cody J Artistry. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.